Semifinal winner, the Charlotte 49ers. Head coach Jeremy Gunn is here with us, along with student athletes Isaac Cowles, Charles Rodriguez, and Donnie Smith. In just a moment, we'll have Coach Gunn offer his thoughts on the game, and then we'll open the floor for your questions. We do have a floor mic out there, so if you do have a question, please raise your hand. Allow us time to get the mic to you. And if you will, obviously with 4 individuals up here, please specify who your question is directed towards. So congratulations, Coach Gunn. Start with your thoughts on the game, and then we'll open it for questions.
First of all, thanks to everybody. I'm probably just better off shouting, without the mic. No, it's a tremendous game, and just so proud of our team and our players. Just an unbelievable performance. I think everybody watching the game could see that Creighton were definitely the better team in the first half. They outpassed us, they were sharper, they were asking more questions, but what was incredible from our players is that, we were bending, but we didn't break. On another day, that they might have put away one of their early chances, and then it would have been much tougher for us. But having said that, second half, we just managed to get our foot into the game, and we just started to win some small battles, and then we asked a few more questions of them, and the more the game went on, the stronger we looked, I felt. And then, by midway through the second half, it was an even game that any team could win. And again, they were having some good chances, and we were having some good chances. We suffered some heartbreaks on penalties a couple of seasons in a row. And when we came back, the first time we trained in January, we talked about working on penalties and just getting better at something. And these guys have certainly done that. You have to find a winner. It's very, very cruel, very, very tough for Creighton. But the only thing we can say is just how composed our guys were through the shootout. Yet again, to go out and do what they did and hit the ball so well, just unbelievable. I'll shut up now, guys. Thank you.
We'll start here on the front row. And Isaac, Charles, Donnie, if you will, if you're asked a question, please lean up toward the mic for us. Gotcha. We'll start right here.
Jeremy, you talked about Creighton being better in the first half. It seemed like they choked out or flooded the midfield a little bit on you. What did you do tactically in the second half to alleviate that?
We were trying to get a 12th player on the field. I thought that was the only, the problems we had was we needed 2 holding midfielders to stop them from getting through us too easily, but then we really needed 2 strikers because the only outlet we had was when we played positive balls forward. Every time we tried to play good small soccer, they were all over us, and it was just impossible for us to solve the problem, really, because they were so sharp and they were onto everything. We couldn't pass and flow, and we couldn't ask questions up front. But there came the point where we said, okay, we have to play with the 2 strikers, and we're not going to get the ball too much in midfield because they're pressing us so well. And just, every time we played the ball forward and positive, we just got a little sniff, and we got a little bit of excitement amongst the group. And so, first half we're kind of playing with an underneath striker / 5th midfielder with Gibbo. And then when we played with 2 up top, I thought that helped us. But as well as the defenders being immense all game long, I think that the guy on the far left was the one that really changed the game for us tonight. He just kept surging forward, and he just looked incredible tonight. So I think that was the other part of it, really.
In the middle toward the back, go ahead.
This is for Coach Gunn and the players. You guys have been kind of nicknamed the Cinderella team, and have you accepted that? You are nationally ranked, but you're not seeded. Have you accepted the fact that you are the Cinderella team?
No, not one bit. This group have been playing great. So I think if we're outside the top 100 and we'd fluked our way into the tournament with an upset victory in a conference tournament, then I think people could say Cinderella. I know all of you people have to write about something. You have to come up with a story. You need to get a bit more imagination, because people have used Cinderella lots of times before. This isn't a Cinderella team. We've been playing great soccer for a number of years, and they've grown, they've matured. There are tons of other teams that could be sitting here right now that are every bit as good as this group, but we've got a resolve and we've got a determination. And you talk about Cinderella, we've scored more goals than anybody in this tournament right now. So I'd take it as a big insult, to be honest, but we don't care really.
Isaac, you want to comment on that? Then we'll go to Charles and Donnie.
We're not as good looking as Cinderella. So no, I don't think.
Charles or Donnie, any thoughts?
You know, I guess being called Cinderella, that kind of puts maybe you could say a chip on our shoulder. You know, you could say, yeah, we feel a bit disrespected, but then it's just another reason why we want to go out there and prove everybody wrong. And so, I mean, you guys can call us a Cinderella. We don't really, we'll accept it. We'll use it as fuel to go out there and do what we do.
Yeah, you know, the core of us have been together for the past 3 years, so we knew we were capable of this. So I would say to call us a Cinderella doesn't really work for us because we believe in each other and we know that we're capable of doing this.
Stay in the center of the room and come up two rows.
Can you talk about your PK? I mean, you had kind of a cushion there. If you made it, you win, but if you didn't make it, you still had, you know, guys behind you. Talk about what's going through your mind. And then after, Donnie, can you just talk about what started to open up for you in the second half where you were getting things down the left flank like that?
You know, I just have to give it to Gavin. You know, everybody looks at the last shooter and says, you know, wow, what a good PK or whatever. But no, it's Gavin, our keeper, stepped up twice for us now in PKs, and he made that stop to give me the cushion. He came up to me and, you know, he said, hey, no pressure, just have fun. He told me have fun, and I smiled. I said, you know what, that's a good point, you know. Just stay composed, like Gunn said, and you back up. You say, all right, I'm going to hit it on frame, make the keeper have to make a save, and he didn't get his hand to it, and so we go on.
Donnie?
Yeah, the coaches and the players always encourage me to take the defender on, and even if I get stopped, it doesn't matter. It's all about the next go that I have. And he stopped me a couple of times, but I just, as the game went on, I got more and more confident dribbling at him, and I think that really helped me in the second half, definitely.
On the end here.
Coach, congratulations. Can you talk a little bit about Gavin and what he's able to spring to life warming up there? I see him on the sidelines. He looks like a jackrabbit going back and forth, back and forth. The past 2 games, he's really come up huge for you. What enables him to be so successful?
Well, you know, the game of soccer is very different than penalties. It's a closed activity. It's a different environment. And, you know, what we try and promise our players is that we're going to try and play the people who are the best at each job. And Gavin's very, very good at the penalty stopping. And, you know, the rest of the world always look at things and they think it'd be a bit strange because you can't sub in and out and you have to be on the field to participate in FIFA rules. But in college soccer, anybody on the roster can step up. And Gavin's the best man for the job. Clay's been unbelievable in goal. He's had a tremendous season. And, you know, when it comes down to it, we feel that Gavin can do the best job. And so he's warming up there because to get springing, you've got to get the blood flowing and get moving, you know. But I guess he's having a pretty good year right now.
Back to the front.
Jeremy, on that same subject, coaches will debate back and forth about using a separate goalkeeper for penalties. For you, with the 2 you were choosing between, what were some of the attributes both ways that you kind of go over before you decide?
Well, we've been following how everybody's been doing with penalties literally since January, and so we've been recording who makes the most stops, and Gavin's been the most successful with that. He's also a bit more of a big presence as well, which I think always helps. When you've got a big keeper like that and it makes a goal look a little bit smaller. He's also a lot uglier than Clay as well, so we feel that's more intimidating. No. He's a good-looking guy, actually. No, and so, you know, it's a totally separate job. And also, I think, as we're coming down the stretch, you know, Clay wasn't having his best period of the season. And there was a lot of pressure on him, and so it was a great way to give Gavin the reward to keep him pushing and working for something. And it also took a little bit of pressure off Clay's shoulders, which I think really helped him, because after the time when we talked about it and said, okay, when we get into playoff time, Gavin's a man for the shootouts, you're number 2 for it. Clay's been magnificent in the games, and Gavin's done well. So, you know, sometimes you make decisions and they don't work. This time it's gone well for us.
We're just really excited that we get another game to play, and that's the big thing. And history will write itself, so we don't have to worry about what the history is going to say. But all we have to worry about is we got a game on Sunday, so we prepare for that. We come out and we try and win that game.
Charles?
Oh, crap. I just think we really enjoy playing, and we've had a couple seasons. We had a players meeting a couple weeks ago. We kind of just talked about how past 2 seasons have ended, and we haven't been happy. We've been very, very unhappy. So we set out a goal, getting into the NCAA tournament. Let's finish this season and let's be happy about it. So that's something that's going through our minds is, I guess, when we attack Sunday, we want to be happy.
Yeah, and just take it as another game. We owe it to these seniors. They've been through a lot. They're the leaders of the group, and I know it means everything to them, and I'm proud to be a team member with them.
Right side in the back.